As a member of the Rules Committee, I sat through 8 hours of hearings 12 days ago on Senate Bill 941. And I want to commend our chair, Representative Hoyle, and the other members of the committee for validating the process of citizen involvement. Unlike the Judiciary Committee in the Senate, the House Rules Committee gave an opportunity to speak to everyone who wanted to speak. The testimonies were moving, both those who support the bill and those who opposed Senate Bill 941 offered, at times, very emotional testimonies. Indeed, several supporters of Senate Bill 941 offered heart-wrenching testimony of how their loved ones had been murdered by evil with a firearm. From mothers to daughters to Senator Pozansky, one of the chief sponsors of Senate Bill 41, we heard about the horrible crimes that took the lives of loved ones. The agony in their voices were real. Colleagues, in the face of such agony, I can offer no reply but my sincere compassion for the loss. I, too, have lost loved ones. My father, my mother, my brother, and most recently, my best friend and brother-in-law. All died well before their time by the scourge of disease. The pain of loss is real, and I want to assure those who testified that their stories were heard. As I begin today to offer this minority report, I do so with the acknowledgement that our grieving hearts cannot be healed by law. But when we can do something within our constitutional power and abiding by the people's inalienable rights, we should. The minority report does just that. It offers this House the opportunity to fund enforcement of existing laws, the laws that are already on the books that prevent felons, the mentally adjudged to be ill, those who have been judged to be mentally ill, and those who have committed domestic violence are all prevented from possessing or acquiring firearms under our existing law. Minority Report number 1 is a simple report. It assigns no fewer than 8 full-time equivalent officers or troopers of the Oregon State Police to investigate unlawful transfers of firearms to persons prohibited from possessing firearms under state or federal law. It assigns no fewer than 2 full-time equivalent employees to engage in public education and outreach concerning firearms safety. The public education and outreach described shall include the distribution of firearm safety kits, including firearm locking devices and educational support for the distribution of firearm safety kits. But it also includes education and awareness designed to promote firearm safety and deter unlawful transfer of firearms to persons prohibited from possessing firearms under state or federal law. In December of 2014, we found that while 197 people were denied firearms in a background check, only 9 were arrested and in custody. We don't know why, whether the system failed us or there was an explanation or perhaps the background check was inaccurate. But we know that enforcement of those trying to illegally possess firearms is an issue. We don't have enough troopers, colleagues. Oregon ranks 46th in the number of troopers per capita compared with all other states. In the 2011-2013 biennium, 64 sworn patrol positions were eliminated. Our troopers are underfunded. We should, in this minority report, by adoption, fund more troopers to begin to enforce our laws. In the committee, when the Republicans offered the minority report via an amendment, my friend and colleague from Corvallis, Representative Rayfield, pointed out that Senate Bill 941 would lose its requirement for a background check by a federal process of form for the private arms transfer. This is true. The minority report takes that out. Representative Rayfield called the background check on private sales and loans a dangerous loophole. And I certainly respect him, but I disagree with him. It is not a loophole. The dictionary defines a loophole as, quote, a means of escape or evasion, a means of opportunity of evading the law. In other words, the question becomes, does Senate Bill 941 prevent those who are trying to evade the law? It only does if the one seeking to evade the law was able to do so in a legal way. It's a lot like tax loopholes, which we closed in 13, a tax loophole. It was called a foreign corporation loophole when foreign corporations, to evade taxes here, we formed offshore to legally prevent the payment of taxes. That's a loophole. A loophole is a legal way to evade a law. But that's not the case in Oregon. It is illegal to possess a firearm if you are a felon, if you are judgmentally ill, if you have committed domestic violence or abuse. It's already illegal. It's already a crime for those Oregonians to acquire a firearm by a private sale or loan. Thus, that's not a loophole. That's just folks breaking the existing law. We need, therefore, what we need is not a law that penalizes a process that is already illegal for those who have been banned. We need enforcement of our existing laws. That is exactly what the Minority Report does. It increases enforcement to keep firearms out of the hands of felons, the mentally ill, domestic abusers. The Minority Report also funds education and outreach to make sure that those who sell or loan firearms know the law. If the intent of Senate Bill 941 is to make it harder for those who are already breaking the law to acquire firearms, and I believe that's what I heard by the carrier, if that's really the intent, then let's shape Senate Bill 941 to be about enforcement, aimed at those breaking the law, not aimed at those who are not. Colleagues, I acknowledge today that laws cannot change the heart, but a law can certainly restrain the heartless. That is why I want our House to take a real and active step to enforcing our existing laws and to keep firearms out of the hands of felons, domestic abusers, and the mentally ill. That's what the Minority Report does. I know that the only thing worse than to do nothing in the face of the cries of those who have lost loved ones is to offer false hope. And that's what Senate Bill 941 does. It offers false hope. The Minority Report is real action that will produce the results we all want: enforcement of the law. Thank you, Madam Speaker.